Okay, so picture this. It's Monday, July 27th, 2026, a day that honestly started out like literally any other for millions of Americans. But then, it suddenly turned into an absolute digital nightmare. I mean, imagine looking down at your phone right now and finding yourself completely, utterly disconnected from the world. No calls, no texts, no data, just that tiny, super stressful little icon right where your signal bars used to be. Well, welcome to this explainer. Today we're going to break down exactly what went down during the massive T-Mobile nationwide blackout, how long it actually lasted, and, what it all means for the future of our wireless networks.
Let's just dive right into the sheer scale of the panic here. 140,000. That number is wild. That represents the peak volume of flagged issues reported within just the very first hour of the crisis. That is an absolutely staggering amount of simultaneous failures. We're not talking about a localized little glitch here. This was a massive, sudden wave of disconnection that left hundreds of thousands of people completely in the dark, literally in a matter of minutes.
Section 1, the day the signal died.
Right around 3 p.m. Eastern Time, so noon if you're out on the West Coast, the first initial reports started trickling into the outage tracking website Down Detector. But man, within minutes, that little trickle turned into a complete tsunami. By 4 p.m. Eastern, over 62,000 customers had reported major issues, and by 5:15 p.m., that surged past 64,000. And the crazy part is, this wasn't isolated at all. The wave spread like wildfire across major metropolitan areas in real time. We're talking New York City, Washington, D.C., Chicago, Detroit, Minneapolis, all the way over to Los Angeles. A true coast-to-coast blackout.
Moving on to understanding the SOS syndrome. So for a huge chunk of users, especially those on iPhones, their familiar 5G or LTE signal bars just completely vanished. Poof! And in their place was just the word SOS. Now, when your phone is in SOS mode, it means your device absolutely cannot connect to your carrier's cellular network. You can't make a regular phone call, you can't send a quick text to your family, you definitely can't use mobile data to check your email. Basically, your super expensive high-tech smartphone is instantly restricted, essentially transformed into a high-end emergency-only device that can only dial 911.
You can probably imagine the widespread panic and confusion this caused, right? People had no idea if their phone was totally broken, if maybe they just forgot to pay their bill, or if it was, a much larger systemic issue. Google search traffic for the phrase SOS mode absolutely skyrocketed as people desperately tried to figure out what the heck was happening. Over on Reddit, a mega thread dedicated entirely to the outage just exploded, racking up over 5,500 comments in a few short hours. Users were frantically trading theories, begging for help, and trying to find literally any potential workaround to get back online. But here is a super fascinating ripple effect. It wasn't just customers who directly pay T-Mobile every month who were left stranded. The blackout actually took down several smaller carriers too. We call these MVNOs, or Mobile Virtual Network Operators. Companies like Mint Mobile, Boost Mobile, Metro by T-Mobile, and even Google Fi. They all rely entirely on T-Mobile's core network infrastructure to run. Down Detector actually noted that Mint Mobile alone saw over 3,260 outage reports. So it's a pretty stark reminder that when the big carrier's infrastructure goes down, the little carriers go down right alongside it.
Next up, nationwide panic and frustration.
Unsurprisingly, customers immediately took to social media to vent. And let me tell you, they did not hold back. They were all echoing this one singular sentiment. I paid too much on my phone bill for T-Mobile not to be working. And hey, fair enough, right? People rely on this utility for literally everything. They work hard to pay for these premium 5G services, and they absolutely expect reliable service in return for their hard-earned money. And as the hours ticked by, the anger really only escalated. One user on X posted this: "T-Mobile is definitely about to hear my mouth. My phone been on SOS for 3 hours. 3 hours, completely disconnected." I mean, in our modern world, that means basic, everyday essential tasks were basically impossible. Users were reporting that they were literally stranded in cities, unable to do something as simple as order a Lyft or an Uber to get home from work.
People actually had to get really creative just to communicate. This one highly relatable detail kind of summed up the whole desperate vibe. Chili's guest Wi-Fi saving me from being stuck in SOS mode right now. People were literally seeking refuge in chain restaurants, cafes, honestly anywhere with a public router just to send an iMessage or a quick email. And meanwhile, for folks who didn't know what was happening on the internet, long, frustrated lines actually started forming outside physical T-Mobile retail stores. Customers were literally demanding face-to-face answers.
For the first few hours, T-Mobile support channels were basically just replying to people with those generic "let us look into that for you" messages. But eventually, the sheer volume forced a real official acknowledgement. T-Mobile finally released a statement saying, and I quote, "Our teams are actively working on the reports of technical challenges. Every available resource is focused on resolving this as quickly as possible." So it confirmed they were on it, but it really didn't give customers the one thing they wanted most, which was a clear timeline for when they'd actually get their signal back.
Section 4. The Late Night Fix. Okay, so the first real sign of hope finally arrived at 6:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Outage reports sharply declined from their peak, down to about 21,200. Service was finally starting to return. Fast forward to 11:45 p.m. Eastern, and T-Mobile officially confirmed full service restoration across the board. They advised that if users were still stuck in that dreaded SOS mode, all they had to do was perform a quick restart of their device to reconnect to the network. And for most users, that classic simple reboot did the trick, and the bars finally returned.
Which brings us to, what caused the blackout?
Now, as of this explainer, T-Mobile has provided absolutely zero technical explanation for the massive failure. Was it a software bug, a bad routing issue, some sort of huge equipment failure? We just don't know. And to put this into perspective, back in January of 2026, Verizon actually suffered a highly similar SOS mode outage. But Verizon actually stepped up and provided eligible customers with roughly $20 bill credits to make up for the downtime. T-Mobile, at least so far, has announced no such compensation, so it raises this really crucial question for everyone. Will T-Mobile users actually see any sort of discount on their upcoming bills for this major disruption?
Let's just quickly summarize the 5 essential takeaways from this whole event so you've got the structured facts. First, the blackout started around 3 p.m. Eastern, peaking at well over 64,000 down detector reports. Second, iPhones were severely restricted to that emergency SOS mode. Third, smaller MVNO carriers like Mint and Boost went down right alongside the main network. Fourth, the entire grid was finally restored just before midnight at 11:45 p.m. Eastern. And fifth, the actual root cause of this massive digital failure remains completely unknown to the public.
Which honestly leaves us with one incredibly important question to ponder. What exactly went wrong deep inside the network, and could it just happen again tomorrow? For millions of Americans, July 27th was a stark, almost scary reminder of our absolute, unwavering dependence on invisible wireless signals. When that infrastructure fails, our modern ability to work, travel, and just connect completely grinds to a halt. It really makes you wonder, just how reliable is the network you're connected to right now?